Story 1. Ghost job listings. Also, if you post a job ad, you must list pay, benefits, and the interview process. Story 2. Automated customer support phone lines that tell me what is available on the website. I never thought of that. I just felt like going out of my way to enter the seventh circle of hell and try to get a human being to help resolve my issue. Story 3. My pet peeve is police sirens on radio advertisements. The number of times I have pulled over, slowed down, or just started looking in my rearview mirror because of this is way too high. Story 4. Ticket resellers are increasing prices, and no one can afford to attend shows anymore. They can all be unemployed now because reselling tickets for more than face value is illegal. Story 5. It bothers me that there is no standard protocol for pockets. While I am a man, I have seen what they do to women's clothes. Small pockets, fake side pockets, fake back pockets. That is not right. I cannot tell you how many times I have had to sacrifice my pockets because designers will not make standard pocket sizes for women. That is not right. Pockets for all 2028. Story 6. Screens in car dashboards that require touch to use versus physical knobs and buttons stop requiring people to look away from the road. Story 7. People who use FaceTime or speakerphone in public spaces such as stores, restaurants, and waiting rooms can disrupt the environment. I own a store and work to create a positive atmosphere with music and lighting. When someone comes in on hold with customer service on speakerphone or spends their entire shopping trip talking loudly with a family member about personal matters, the whole store has to listen instead of enjoying their own experience. It is incredibly self-centered. I now ask that customers take calls outside. Story 8. Camping in the left lane, not returning your cart to the corral, and blocking the aisle in stores. Standing on the left side of a moving sidewalk. Story 9. Automated phone tree customer service, and prohibit outsourcing this service overseas. Additionally, establish a standard for expiration dates and labeling on food that is large enough to read and placed in a specific location on packages. Story 10. I would outlaw Congress from receiving lifetime salaries and benefits. I would also prohibit Congress from giving themselves raises. What is happening, people? Story 11. Babies at events where the audience is supposed to be quiet often scream and cry the whole time. Either get a babysitter or do not come to the event. Story 12. Billboards are unattractive and pose a minor safety hazard because they can distract drivers. Story 13. Appliances with mandatory jingles you cannot disable. Immediate action should be taken against the engineer responsible for our LG washer. Story 14. Well, I am the president, so I cannot ban things for the average person. However, I can ban the executive branch from doing certain things. Therefore, I would eliminate any no-knock warrants being used by executive agencies. Story 15. Convenience and service fees for online ticket purchases. $11 per ticket service charge? I am the one creating an account, selecting tickets, and entering card and shipping information. What kind of service are these ticket monopolies actually providing at this point? Story 16. Daylight saving time, specifically standard time. They keep offering this incentive in front of us. Just decide already. Story 17. I know I am going to upset a lot of people, but I hate the sound of loud vehicles, especially Harley-Davidson motorcycles. I believe all vehicles should be required to follow a maximum decibel level. No one needs to hear your loud bike or car. Story 18. I love this question. I would ban corporations from using cheap plastic bags that rip and cause groceries to fall out from the bottom. All cans must have a pop-top lid opener. I would ban the creation of a new universal cord. Let's end it with the C cord. People are sick of 4 different kinds of cords and adapters. Story 19. I would ban senators and members of the House of Representatives after 8 years in office. They should not serve for decades. Story 20. None of these are petty enough. I would ban sweet pickles because those are terrible abominations. I would also ban disc golf and ultimate frisbee because I dislike those activities. Play frisbee as originally intended. I would make it illegal for people to talk to me about cannabis. They can still smoke. I'll smoke with them, but don't talk to me about the strain or tetrahydrocannabinol content. I would ban Dragon Ball Z because I am a strong critic. I would ban any gummy candy not made by Albanese. I would ban that broccoli haircut all the younger generation gets. It looks unappealing. I would ban Cybertrucks not for political reasons but because they are unattractive. I would ban the song Paranoid by Black Sabbath. It is out of place on a glorious metal album, and I dislike it. These are my petty bans. Story 21. For-profit healthcare includes both the insurance companies and the hospitals that turn people away based on income. This is unacceptable. Story 22. Republicans. All registered Republicans are not allowed to be Republicans. Fox News and One American News Network are pulled from the air. Churches are converted to gay dance clubs. Entire military bases are converted into gay dance clubs. Red states are hereby referred to as pink states. Republican politicians will have to give their next speech with gay strippers dancing in their laps and will have to say 5 nice things about Hillary Clinton. Andrew Tate is a gay trans man will be written into the Constitution. Story 23. People in the express checkout with significantly too many items. Can you read? Can you count? Straight to jail. Story 24. People should not be able to serve in the House of Representatives or the Senate until they are old and feeble. I would support term limits. Story 25. Whatever you call those cars people modify to be excessively loud, I would make it a capital crime to drive them in populated areas, with public execution by guillotine. Otherwise, I would be a fairly moderate president, a little left of center, and try to avoid foreign wars. So vote for me. Story 26. I would ban the use of car horns in advertisements. Many times I have been listening to Spotify while driving, and I hear a car horn that makes me jump. I look around for a potential accident on its way to me, only to realize it is an advertisement. Story 27. The word quantum, for anyone who does not work in a field where that word is used properly, there would be a $100 fine anytime you tried to use the word quantum to explain something that had nothing to do with that word. Story 28. Not something I would ban, more like a new right. All service workers in any industry that deals with the public are allowed to slap one person a month free of consequences. Story 29. Car horns or emergency vehicle sirens used in radio advertisements. I do not listen as often as I used to, but they used to really annoy me. Story 30. Any gender reveal that is more intricate than just the color inside a cake. Also, gender reveals where the expecting parents already know the gender and are simply sharing it with their family and friends. Story 31. The 12-month year should be changed to 13 months, each with 28 days. New Year's Day can be its own separate day. We can name the new month Toyotathon. Story 32. People accelerating their car until they are very close to the vehicle in front, then braking suddenly because of the close distance, forcing everyone behind them to brake as well repeatedly. I am quite sure that driving like that is extremely dangerous. It is a straight road. Just ease off the gas a little. Story 33. I would enact a law that immediately jails any individual who stops in the middle of the grocery store aisle with their cart perpendicular to the aisle. Story 34. Prohibit smoke breaks. It is unfair that smokers receive more breaks than others due to their lifestyle habits. Story 35. Left lane campers. If anyone is behind you and it is clear they want to go faster than you, move out of the way. Story 36. The new Starbucks lids and anything similar. I had half a mouthful of my Sheets coffee end up in my bra last week because of it. Story 37. People who stand up as soon as the plane lands and then just stand there, hunched, for 10 minutes are not allowed. You may now remain seated indefinitely. Story 38. Automated calling causes a delay between answering and the agent joining the line. You receive a call, say hello 3 or 4 times, and no one responds. Story 39. Buying something online and it is out of stock, then wait 2 weeks to get your money back. There will be 50% interest per day. Story 40. People are not allowed to say on accident and must now use the correct phrase, by accident. Story 41. The use of the word orientate. Orient, when used as a verb, provides the same function and does not sound incorrect. Story 42. Allowing children who cannot read or do math to pass through elementary school. You must stay until you can do long division. Story 43. I would ban all advertisements longer than 10 seconds. If you pay for a service, they cannot show you an advertisement. Looking at those with advertisement subscriptions for Netflix and Hulu, there should be heavy regulations on advertisements on social media, including no sexualized advertisements and no false advertising. Currently, our government is not effectively addressing mobile game advertisements. I saw an advertisement for a mobile game on Instagram the other day, and one of the characters was topless for no reason, including visible nipples. Story 44. I would ban artificial intelligence. I know some artificial intelligence can be useful, but not all. The day we stop thinking for ourselves is the day society crumbles. What is the point if we do not pursue original thought anymore? How can people be proud of work they did not do at all? Additionally, artificial intelligence is sometimes inaccurate and has a negative impact on the environment. Story 45. I would make not picking up your dog's waste punishable by 5 years in prison. I do not mean putting it in a bag and leaving it there. That is even worse for the environment. Story 46. Ignorance of the law is not a valid defense for breaking it. There is no formal way of delivering information about new laws. Nobody knows the entire legal code, and police sometimes use arbitrary reasons to justify negatively impacting our lives. Laws are not posted everywhere, and the driver's test I took in 2003, in a state where I no longer live, is not sufficient to prove that I understand every moving violation. Story 47. Referring to your significant other as husband. You are going straight to the big house. That is right, Alcatraz. You cannot escape from there, brother. Story 48. Young children playing with tablets and phones in a restaurant. Actually engage with your child. No one forced you to have them. Story 49. The smell of cigarettes. Get that odor out of here. I am literally having a wonderful time outside. Then I am assaulted by the smell of chain smokers. Story 50. Pharmaceutical advertisements in all forms. If you are sick, ask your doctor and let them tell you if you need medication and what kind. Story 51. In my city, those electric scooters are technically illegal according to bylaws, but it has never been enforced. I would enforce the ban. I strongly dislike those things. Story 52. Nobody is allowed to chew with their mouth open, or they will go to soundproof jail. I will not hear you smacking your lips. Story 53. Presidents cannot unilaterally ban any certain thing. Such power is limited by the Constitution and our system of checks and balances. Congress has the primary authority to create laws. Even executive orders are subject to judicial review. This is one of the problems with having a convicted felon fascist in chief who is only concerned with his own interest and enrichment and has no intention of following the Constitution or any norms for that matter. It makes the general public assume that being president allows you to do anything you desire. It does not. Story 54. I would ban people from not taking the civics courses they need to understand that presidents cannot ban anything they want. Story 55. Ted Cruz. Even the people in his own party dislike him. Since laws apparently do not matter anymore, I would ban him from holding any public office or speaking in public again. Story 56. I would make it a misdemeanor crime for influencers to create content in public spaces without a permit and fee. 50% of whatever they earn from the video would go to the taxpayers as a collective apology for having to endure their presence. A fine of 200% of the video's revenue or $5,000, whichever is higher, would be imposed for not obtaining the permit. I would also make it a crime to post content filmed in privately owned places without the consent of the owner. Failure to do so would be a misdemeanor crime with a fine of $5,000 or 200% of the video's revenue, whichever is higher. Is it petty? Yes. Is it a free speech violation? Very much so. At the same time, it manages to be petty in a comment section full of genuinely good policy ideas. Story 57. I would not ban something based on my own whim. Good Lord, are we going to accept that Kim Jong-Trump is now the model? Yes, I am serious about this. Donald Trump is actually doing this. Story 58. Airport drop-off fees. including any exploitative parking fees, should be addressed. I would also make being caught littering anything that is not biodegradable a crime equivalent to speeding or reckless driving. Story 59. It would not be a bad idea to make it a law that all political parties must have equal spending. Story 60. Traffic lights turn red just as I approach them. However, as president, I will not have to worry about that. Story 61. I would revoke the broadcast license of any station that shared the 64 ounces of water per day, or you only use 10% of your brain facts. I am nothing if not reasonable. Story 62. Touch screens that are worse than an iPad touchscreen. We have had the technology for more than a decade. Come on. Story 63. Ridiculous and usurious interest rates on credit cards and loans. Predatory lending is a cancer that needs to be eliminated. Story 64. Unwise vehicle modifications. Angry Jeep headlights result in a fine that increases daily until you fix the issue. If you fail to fix it within a week, a permanent tattoo is applied to your face. I am also implementing unreasonable and immature punishments for every mistake I make. Story 65. The reselling of event tickets for higher than face value is acceptable if you need to sell because something came up and you cannot go, but it should not be considered an investment vehicle. Story 66. When you call your insurance company and provide your claim number, they connect you directly to the adjuster. However, it often goes straight to voicemail, so no one calls you back. If you try navigating the automated system without your claim number, it takes about 10 minutes of pressing buttons and requesting an operator before you reach someone. When you finally get through, they say the adjuster sent you a message. You ask them to resend it because you never received it, but they explain they cannot resend it since they are not attached to the claim. They promise to notify the adjuster to resend it and call you back. Unfortunately, the adjuster neither resends the message nor calls back, forcing you to restart the entire process. Story 67. Not being able to get out of a drive-through line. Every drive-through must allow you to leave if you get tired of waiting. No more being trapped by a large curb. Story 68. Executive orders should be reserved for purely ceremonial occasions, such as declaring today to be National Cotton Candy Day. All other actions must have congressional oversight. Story 69. I would mandate timing all red traffic signals so you can pass through town without stopping at every one of them. It is a waste of energy and time, and traffic flow would improve significantly. Story 70. People traveling in the left lane and obstructing traffic. I suppose enforcement should be increased. Story 71. Paper straws are the worst idea ever. I want to enjoy my drink, not little bits of paper that dissolve from the straw. Story 72. This man Vince at my office, when he is at the urinal urinating, will audibly grunt and moan while doing so, as if it is the most strenuous, hey look at me thing a person can do. Other times, he urinates hands-free while scrolling his phone. Both of those behaviors must stop. Otherwise, public flogging will make a triumphant return. Story 73. Styrofoam lunch trays at school. 1. They make a horrible noise when they hit metal. They are an unnecessary waste. Half the time, they bend and you have to worry about your lunch falling on the floor. Reusable plastic trays are the better choice, possibly even custom ones for the school to show some spirit. Story 74. I am going to take all involved in producing, promoting, and playing all those annoying advertisements like cars for kids, and it is a crime to pay more than a dime and put them on our most powerful rocket available. Then I am going to launch that rocket at the star system most likely to have the most invasion-crazy civilizations to warn them about messing with us. Story 75. Tiered subscriptions. If you pay for an ad-free experience and then they say, actually, this still has ads unless you upgrade to our professional tier for $9.99 more, the company should be fined daily until they reverse that decision. I know the question is about banning, but I feel that would not stop them anyway. Story 76. Checked bags are free. Carry-on luggage costs a significant amount for business travelers and less for everyone else. Additionally, I would ban Axe body spray, which secured the teacher's vote. Story 77. I would not ban anything, but I would certainly issue tickets to people who throw dental flossers on the ground. Story 78. People with bright lights on their house at night. You do not need to light up the whole neighborhood. It literally hurts my eyes. Story 79. Cyclists. Only children would be allowed to ride bikes. I have never almost hit a child on a bike, but there are countless times I have almost hit a cyclist or group of cyclists who decided a country back road with a speed limit of 60 miles per hour is the spot they need to ride on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Story 80. I will not ban pickles, but any restaurant will only be able to serve them to customers after obtaining written consent. No more meals ruined by pickle spears leaking their juice all over my food. Story 81. No speakerphone conversations or loud videos or music from mobile phones in public spaces. This includes cafes, restaurants, buses, trains, clinics, hospitals, airports, stations, waiting areas, office lobbies, and similar locations. Story 82. High-speed trading is no longer practiced. All financial trades enter a 90-second queue, effectively ending that practice. Additionally, not yielding in the roundabout to drop off or pick up your child now carries severe legal consequences. Story 83. Hard to remove price tags from items that are clearly meant to be gifts, especially the sticky residue that clings. What the heck? Story 84. People driving in the left lane would be picked up by an Apache helicopter with a large magnetic crane and dropped off at the nearest Department of Motor Vehicles location. Story 85. Bring back the fairness doctrine. Any channel with news in the name must follow the standards. If you post incorrect information, the opponent can take it to court. They will be given equal time for a rebuttal. For example, Fox News spends 30 minutes on Hunter Biden's laptop, which has been proven biased and untrue. The Biden family or administration can then get 30 minutes of airtime on Fox at the same hour and same day of the week. No way MSNBC, Fox, or any other network will give the other side that kind of time. It will bring back the days of Walter Cronkite. Channels that want to post that kind of story must include comedy or entertainment in the title of the show. Free speech is preserved. Lies are prevented. Story 86. Lottery tickets shall not be purchasable at the supermarket express lane. They are too slow for that. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.